Most high performers are full of imposter syndrome, and this is why. So let's consider, why do high performers work so hard? Why do they strive so much? There is a reason why they perform better and more than, say, the average individual. And typically this is from a need to prove themselves. So in order to have this need to prove yourself, you need to have an internal state of feeling that you're not enough, or perceiving that whatever you are internally is not good enough. And when you have this change between the external perception and the internal perception, you get imposter syndrome. So let's imagine that you're someone that is striving very hard because you have this internal state of, I'm not good enough, I need to prove myself. And so therefore you end up a high performer because you have that like fuel. And then you have all of this external validation. You get promoted, people start recognizing you, they start calling you a high performer. And then you start having this disconnect between what the external world is saying and how you feel on the inside. Because on the inside, you continuously feel like you're not doing enough. And that's where imposter syndrome is created. So for a lot of you, you start thinking, oh, I got lucky. Like, this is a very common mindset for high performers with imposter syndrome. I got lucky. Like, this wasn't really like something I did. This wasn't a result of my skills or my hard work. I got lucky. And this is the mindset that they build up in order to bridge that cognitive dissonance that's created between their internal perception of themselves, which is someone that isn't that great, and the external perception of them, which is someone who is really that great. Because it's very confusing if you think about it. If I like imagine myself as someone not that great, and if I perceive myself as someone not that great, and the whole world is telling me like, wow, you did so much, like this is really impressive, how do I explain that? Because I need to maintain that I am a rational, intelligent individual in order to remain psychologically well. And so I need to create a story that fuses these together. And one of the stories that individuals with imposter syndrome create is, I got lucky. That makes sense, right? Because it allows me to continue thinking I am not that great. And it allows me to explain why people keep telling me that I am that great. It makes perfect sense. The problem with having the I am lucky core belief is that it perpetuates the imposter syndrome. So you're never actually getting to the root cause of the imposter syndrome, which is that perception of I am not that great. You're just kind of fixing it with like this Band-Aid solution. And so if you actually want to feel better, and if you want to bridge that divide that often is so difficult to bridge, and often you can even feel like, oh, I'm a fraud. People are going to find me out. I'm like really deceiving these people because I know I'm not that great, but for whatever reason, they have a completely different perception. Then this is imposter syndrome, and you need to actually get to the root cause, which is your perception of yourself. And in order to change your perception of yourself, you need to change your core beliefs about yourself. And that's that will take work because you've spent so many decades developing your own core beliefs. And if this is you, I encourage you to book an intro session, because this is something that can be overcome, but it needs to be overcome through coaching, through work, because if you don't overcome it, you'll typically live your entire life trying to achieve more and more and more and more, and never quite feeling like you ever achieved anything. Like, it doesn't get better with more achievement. You can achieve the most and still feel like a fraud because you never actually got to the root cause, which is your internal perception of yourself.